Welcome to She Sells Radio. We are on day 3 of the Finish Strong Challenge. How are you doing so far? Have you been participating? Have you signed up yet for the challenge? If you haven't yet, it's elisearcher.com/challenge to get registered. This challenge is all about helping you complete the last 2 months of this year, or whenever you start it is great, but helping you complete with energy and focus and attention and results that you can be so proud of come January 1st. And it's also about enjoying the process. So this isn't like, if you know me, if you know my story, if you know my brand, this isn't about like hustle and grind and burn out before the end of the year. Not at all. This is about you having fun. This is about you enjoying the holidays. This is about you soaking up all of the beautiful energy of this year while simultaneously being so fierce with your energy and intention when you are in work mode, when you are in go mode. And a lot of these things, like, they don't even require extra time. It's more about, where are you placing your focus and your attention and your energy so that you can complete this year strong and you can complete this year powerfully. And that's really what this is all about. And so today on day 3, I've got where I'm recording now. If you are watching on YouTube, it's like the sun is right about in my eyes. So I'm trying to move and make sure that I'm not blinded while I record here. On day 3 today, this is kind of coming back to day 1, but it's deeper. We're going to go deeper today. This is all about setting that goal from a place of must, not from a place of should. And so if you go back to episode, was it 237, where we announced the challenge, I think 237, maybe 238, you'll see it in there. Either way, you will hear me talk about creating your goal card. So what is the thing that you're going to create before the end of this year? What is the non-negotiable for you? And if you did that in real time, you've had a couple of days to let it marinate. And I'm curious, as it has marinated for you, is it still feeling like, oh my gosh, full body, yes, true must? Or is it feeling kind of like, I could take it or leave it? And I want you to also really be so like, this is not about being hard on yourself if you could take it or leave it. If you could take it or leave it, it's just not the thing that's meant for you. There's nothing wrong with that. That means there's something else meant for you that you get to create through this challenge. But it won't manifest if it's not a must. It will not manifest if it's not a must. And this is how everything works in our lives. So if there's been something that you were like, yes, this has to happen for me, you're talking about it, you're journaling about it, but it didn't happen, it wasn't a true must for you, right? It wasn't a true must for you, or it wasn't a must for you yet. And that's okay, because to me, that's always the indication that there's something that's more in alignment for us. But we want to be open to what that is, right? And so if it's not a must, you're available for it to not happen. And sometimes sometimes we write down something again that we don't really want to have happen. Like, I shared this on the podcast a couple days ago, that earlier this year, I'd been building, I've been kind of building towards something that would require a lot greater leadership on my part. Not that I don't want to lead, like, I love leading and working with my team, but a lot more people involved, a lot more time needed on my end. And as I really gave myself permission to just be so honest with myself over the past month or so, it was like, I don't really desire that level of people management in my life. Like, some people are meant for that, some leaders like that. At this point in my life, I don't really desire that. And so there were elements of that process that had felt hard, or had felt like friction, or felt like they just weren't happening. And when I really got clear on it, it's like, well, it wasn't really what I wanted, and that's okay. And then the flip side of that too is that maybe what and I'm kind of using this for reference, like in the past, if you've set a goal and it hasn't happened, what are the reasons why that could happen? Number one is often it wasn't a must for you, which means there was something more in alignment. Number two can sometimes also be it just needed more time to come together. And that's fine too, right? It's not necessarily that we adjust the goals. Sometimes we need to just adjust the timeline. But I want you to look at for whatever is on your goal card that you said, this is an absolute must for me. Does it still feel like a must? And really looking at what is a true must for you in this season right now. So again, you've got bigger picture vision. You've got bigger picture goals, right? And what we're looking at here is before the end of the year, what is a non-negotiable for you to have completed, for you to have checked off, for you to have brought into your life? And I've given examples of that all along the way on this challenge. And I am officially blind if you're watching the video. So I keep trying to move and the sun continues to be, wow, really moving with me and in my eyes. Let me try to move a little bit here. We're chasing the sun on this podcast here. Can you tell I'm batch recording content today? We're in this beautiful home in the mountains of North Carolina. It's funny, when I turned on my Zoom, I was like, oh, that looks like a fake background, but it's actually just this beautiful home we're staying in. Okay, let me see if I can stay out of the sun for a few more minutes. Where were we? How do you get clear on if it's a must? Okay, let's talk about this. Number one, does it light your heart on fire? So when you think about it, does it light your heart on fire? Does it feel expansive? Or again, does it feel like a should? Feels like a should. That's not what this is about. Does it light your heart on fire? Number two, does it motivate you to get uncomfortable? Does it motivate you to get uncomfortable? You know, I have a thing I'm creating right now. And as I was speaking with one of my mentors about it, in my mind, my timeline on it was longer. My timeline on it was like the next couple of years. And I was on a call this week with her, and she was like, well, if you want to get this done before baby comes, then this is what it's going to need to look like. And I was like, that's a really interesting perspective shift to think about, oh, like 4 months, right? 4-ish, well, not quite 5 months, rather than like a couple years. And as I thought about that, it was like, well, I hadn't even allowed myself to have the vision of this could happen that soon. But as I thought about it and realized, well, actually, I see the how and I see the numbers, and it is going to require some discomfort and some stretching in certain ways. But the thought of that thing being completed in the next 4 to 5 months is like really wildly expansive in a really exciting way. And so is it motivating enough to get you uncomfortable enough to say yes and to take action? And so as I've said yes to this being something that I can even see being possible for me in the next 4 to 5 months, I'm taking different action. I'm stretching more. I'm getting more uncomfortable. And that's how you know that something is really a must for you, is when you're willing to do that. The third thing, is it something you can't stop thinking about? So I want you to notice, like, where does your mind go again and again and again and again and again as you are kind of, maybe you're drifting off to sleep, maybe you're daydreaming, maybe you're in the shower, but like, where does your mind go? Those are the things that really matter to you. Number 4, is it from you, not from others? So again, is it from you, not from others? So this comes back to goal setting and setting our non-negotiables from the place of must, not from the place of should. Others can be parents. They can be leaders in an organization. They can be people we respect. Sometimes we don't even know who the others are. It's kind of just like, oh, people would be impressed if I did this. Well, who are people? Who are they anyway? Right? So what you think of you is what matters most. And is this coming from you, from that place of alignment? Or is it coming from, I think I should do this to please so-and-so or to impress so-and-so? Scooting along the table out of the sun here. Here we go. Okay, we're almost done. So checking in on that, right? Is this from me? Is this not from others? And then the fifth thing, and this is one of my favorite questions to ask when I'm on a discovery call with a potential client, or even when I'm working with a new client, is like, if there were no consequences or limitations, what would happen? If there were no consequences or limitations, what would I do? What would I have happen in my life, in my business, my career, my life? That's how you know what's a must for you. That's how you know, not this is what I think should happen, but no consequences or limitations. What would happen? So as you kind of filter your goal from that place of should versus must, it starts to really get clear, and you get to be in your power with being in alignment with it. When it's a must, this is something I say in my keynote, your must will move mountains. Your must will move mountains, but only when it's a must for you. So this is your assignment for today for the challenge, is to get really, really clear on what is a must. Maybe it's what you originally wrote on your goal card. And if so, that's great. And if not, what is the must for you? And scrap what you wrote originally. And I want you to anchor into what is truly the must, because that is what will happen when you follow the steps I'm going to lay out in the challenge. So spend some time getting clear on that, journal on that. And then once you've completed that, I want you to share on social that you've completed and gotten really clear on your must. If you want to share what your must is, I'd love to hear it. If you want to keep that personal to you, that's totally fine too. But either way, your assignment for today is to get clear on what is your must. When you're clear on that, you can share on social that you've completed day 3 of the challenge. And as always, tag me. I'm at Elise Archer, and then you're going to use the hashtag #SheSellsChallenge. Be sure that you're signed up and registered officially, elisearcher.com/challenge, to be notified of the prizes, to be getting the weekly workbooks that we're putting out in conjunction with this. I am so excited to have you participating in this. And on tomorrow, we're going to announce day 4. So stay tuned.